Fairmont School District is looking to upgrade their nearly 70-year-old school facilities with a new referendum vote this fall. KEYC News Now's Randall Gim heard from school officials on why they believe these upgrades are needed.
Fairmont Area School students have been filling these same halls since the 1950s, but custodian Mark Borchardt says the sewage pipes below these floors cause significant issues.
Through the years, the solids have just decreased the pipe size, and it doesn't take much to plug these pipes, which creates backups in the hallway and other rooms. So it is important, but not necessarily the biggest thing. We've got other concerns in the building as well.
Borchardt says managing the sewage is just one challenge, but he also wants the building to be secure.
We have a safety feature as part of this referendum as well, and school safety, kind of a no-brainer nowadays.
Through this suggested $21 million referendum, Fairmont School Superintendent Andy Trado is looking to improve their entrance to make sure students are protected.
Our students are why we're here. It's why our staff signs up to be here each and every day to support their learning and their growth.
Trado also says their fine arts programs have been multiplying in size, but the way it's operating now, he says, is hitting a sour note with some students.
For our students to have to carry their orchestra instruments up steps and into alternate spaces, it impacts learning time as well as their overall experience.
He also points to a survey where a majority of students said they noticed the shortage of windows in the building.
As part of this project, we're looking to add windows to 33 classrooms that currently don't have that natural light to enhance the student experience.
Trado said these improvements will not only help the schools, but also improve the city of Fairmont as a whole. In Fairmont, Randall Gim, KEYC News Now.
Fairmont's referendum will be on the November 4th ballot. Early voting begins September 19th.